from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How come they never say your bedtime? You're right on time for bedtime. Whatever time it is, you're right on time for this bedtime story. There's no such thing as being early or late here at Sleep With Me. It's just here for you, to keep you company, take your mind off of stuff so you could fall asleep. It's a very different podcast. You know, even though I'm not a bird, I've been referred to as an odd bird, and I'm good with that. That doesn't exactly sum up the show because I'm not actually a bird. I don't do a lot of squawking, and I mean, I do eat seeds and nuts, so got that in common. My dog makes nests. She does. My dog Co likes to have a nest, even with bolsters. She says, double my bolsters, make me a nest. So I guess we do have a few things in common with birds. My brain just said, don't forget, you're a bird brain. And I said, of all the people to call me a bird brain, my brain just my brain just facepalmed. I said, did I just call ourselves a bird brain? No, not only did you do that, you interrupted the beginning of a sleep podcast to have me pause and point out that I'm a bird brain. Like we forgot in our description of things we can. So, yeah, you did do that. You said, by the way, one thing you forgot that we have in common with birds. And I say, what? Like a lovely ability to ruffle. We have ability to ruffle feathers, too. So this may not be the podcast for you. But give it a few tries. The reason I laugh is really that when people give it a few tries and they realize, oh, this guy has no idea. He knows exactly how he knows he has no idea what he's doing. Like once that unlocks for you, even partially, say, oh, okay. I had no idea I was looking for something like this. A friend to keep me company in the deep dark night because it's painful for me. It's lonely for me when I can't sleep. It hurts. And I just want a friend to tell me a story that makes no sense and goes nowhere and is a little bit silly. Someone who's there for me that I don't have to listen to. Well, that's what Sleep With Me is. I'm glad you're here. Do give it a few tries. See how it goes. What we got coming up, support. That's the ad-supported show's free whenever you need it. Exactly 600 episodes in the feed. Maybe I'll put 601 in there just so when I say over, it's actually accurate. I'm going to do that. I think I can do that. One episode's not going to. What else? 600 episodes in the feed. Now I already forgot. So there's the support. Then there's a long, meandering intro right after the support. It is a show within a show to ease you into bedtime. And so you could get to know your boyfriend. So don't miss out on the long, meandering intro. Then there's support, and then there'll be a bedtime story. It'll be a little theme park, keeping cool at a theme park with my neighbor Ray. And after that, it'll be some thank yous. So that's the structure of the show. So we got coming up. And these sponsors are what make it possible for us to do it for free twice a week. All right, everybody, Scoots here. We no longer have the Sleepy Supporter Zone. We're restructuring the podcast so it can be here for you twice a week. And so this is part of the show, too, now, where if you listen to Sleep With Me on a regular basis and you get something out of it, like it makes your life better. Does Sleep With Me make your life better or improve it anyway? Or even does Sleep With Me make bedtime more tolerable for you? That's really, the goal is to go above and beyond that. But does Sleep With Me even achieve that? Like say, well, bedtime's a lot less worse with you, Scoots. If the answer to that is yes, could you set an alarm right now? Just go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. If Sleep With Me has changed your life for the better, please rush over there. Set an alarm. Write a note to yourself right now. Set a reminder. Because not only will you ensure Sleep With Me is there for you, but other people as well who cannot afford to support the show and rely on it. But here's the other thing. You don't want to miss out on subscriber summer, so test out Sleep With Me Plus. Get signed up so you get all those extras that are coming there for Subscriber Summer. We're doing another summer of really special stuff, and you can get all that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Check it out and let me know what you think. That's the first part of this new structure we're going to do here. Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on that on this show. This show, that show. Who are they?
Posty poster son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the mystery bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Hannah like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Well, thanks, Mystery Bard. And here's one more thing. This month, we're part of the Orlando Park Stop fundraiser benefiting the Trevor Project. You're going to hear a couple special episodes in June. So please support the Trevor Project. Use the link in our show notes. You can join the auction. You could contribute directly. And if you do donate more than $100, let me know about it so I can send you a pressed penny from Ray. And what do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it the bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. We're going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. It could be thoughts on, things on your mind, thoughts that you're thinking about, thoughts, feelings, anything that's coming up for you, emotionally related to those thoughts, or physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be, it could be on a trip. You could have guests coming. You could work, your work schedule could have changed, or you could have a different work schedule. Maybe you got something coming up. Maybe you're a student. Maybe you're going through something. There's people that listen to the show while they're going through some sort of transitional situation or anticipation or getting over something. And there's people who are regular listeners, and there's people who listen during different phases in their life. But you're here. And the reason I go through that stuff to point it out it's weird. Initially, if you're new, you might say, that makes me feel less alone, being reminded. And that's why I've kind of, over the years, the podcast is always evolving a little bit based on what I hear from people. And the truth is, based on what I know in my heart from listening to people and listening to listeners, is that the reason I go through that stuff is so you're not alone. Because there is other people that have gone through something similar, maybe the same thing, or maybe just a little bit different. And they can relate to how you feel. Just like maybe you relate to how the fact I didn't even correctly put those words together, but they were heartfelt. Because I know how it feels. I might not know exactly what you've gone through, but I know how it feels, right? I've been there in the deep, dark night, struggling to get to sleep and just there, wondering what's going to happen next. So I just point that out to let you know, hey, we know how it feels, or someone does that's listening right now. And that's important. But it's also important for you to know that you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a place you could get some rest. You deserve a bedtime you don't dread. You deserve the rest you need so your life is more manageable. And if you get that rest, what a wonderful thing. Because I know what it's like on the other side when you don't have enough rest. And I know what it's like having a bedtime routine and getting on, like, a lot of times, the rest I need so that I can be out there and do what I need to flourish. And I know that if you're out there flourishing, or even if your life feels a little bit more manageable, your world's going to be better. And you're a part of the same world I'm a part of. So that's important to me. So that's why I make the show. And it doesn't work for everybody. A lot of people, they don't like it at all. The only reason I say to give it a few tries is, one, the show's very different, probably different than what you expected when someone told you about it or you searched about it. Probably if you were searching for it or asking about it or heard about it, it's because you can't sleep too. So you're probably skeptical because if you're like me and most of the other listeners, you tried a ton of different things and you've got to the point where you're like, okay, I'll just try that podcast, or I'll try that podcast again. I tried it a couple of years ago. And so you're skeptical, you're doubtful, you're worn out, and you're fed up. So if you feel that way when you get here, that's normal. That's how most people get here. There's very rarely people that get to sleep with me that are like in the middle of dancing. Like, they have that idealized social dancing. It was a thing maybe like 10 years ago. It still should be idealized. I'm not saying we shouldn't glorify people dancing by themselves in a totally like feeling it and dancing by themselves. I'm just saying there is an idealized thing of dancing by yourself. Not a lot of people get here. People, believe me, I've danced alone. Oh boy, have I. That's different. But a lot of people don't get here and they're like doing some sort of full on, whatever the idealized solo dancing. I guess Napoleon Dynamite wasn't solo dancing, or Little Miss Sunshine, or other things. They were performing, or there was the one with the summer camp or whatever. But you know what I mean? Not everybody, you don't get here when you're feeling your best because of this bedtime stuff, So that's why I go through this stuff, just to let you know, hey, it's okay. Now, if you find you try the show a few times, or you read a lot of lad mags, you probably already are like, I don't like this person. So there is another website, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you, that has like other sleep podcasts and sleepy stuff on there, because the show is a niche show. But it's the right niche. If it's the right niche for you, or the right niche, or however you want to say it, it works. And maybe it only works for a little while when you need it. Or maybe you become one of these listeners that's a part of my life because I get to be a part of theirs, like you. So those are things to know. What I'll do is I'll send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'll use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents, which just means my voice is not traditionally soothing. I get mixed up. I go off topic. I forget what I was talking about. I repeat myself. I mispronounce words. I stumble over. I use filler words. I mean, now I'll use some filler words gratuitously, but naturally, I use superfluous filler words. Maybe. I don't know if that's what maybe I'm not. I don't know. But there's plenty of extra words in here. So, if like machine transcripts, hopefully those companies have not used, freely used my content with no cost to them to train their models. But if they did, that was when they said, we got an overload on, the Des Moines servers. Can you check what they're listening to episodes of Sleep With Me without, of course, without the creator's permission. So they can make their own sleep podcasts. And there's so many filler words. They don't know, they're having trouble parsing it out. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. So, what was my point in there? I don't know. The show's I send my voice that's the style of the show. It's very strange and confusing. And so much so I forgot. Pointless meanders, superfluous tangents. That's what I said. Okay, structurally what to expect and how most people listen, how you can adjust. One, this is a show you just kind of barely listen to, almost like background noise or out of focus picture that you just say, okay, I kind of get it. That's the best way to listen to it. Like a friend that's talking to you, but they say, don't worry about listening. Don't worry about the details, man. I'm going to give you all of them. It's this. I'm going to tell you about this 5-minute short I saw over the next 45 minutes. That's what sleep. But they say, don't worry. I'm not going to quiz you, or I'm just telling you, you don't need to listen. Or like a TV on in the other room. Whatever idea works for you. Also, the show is not here to put you to sleep. I've been making the show for over 10 years by the time you hear this. Over 1,200 episodes. I don't even know. Tens and tens and tens of thousands of hours of effort, and joyous effort to put people to sleep. But this show actually doesn't put you to sleep. It's here to keep you company while you fall asleep. Spoiler. I'm here to be your bore friend, your bore bae, your bore bud, your bore burr, your bore sib, your bore cuz, your bore bestie, your neighbor, your bore bee, your bores, your bore bruh, your bore friend, to take your mind off stuff and keep you company while you fall asleep. The shows are over an hour because there is no pressure to fall asleep. I'm here. There's over 600 free shows you could choose from. So you could just see how it goes. I'm here for you. So just see how it goes. And I'll ease you into bedtime and keep you company. And the next thing you know, you'll wake up tomorrow, or you could wake up at some point and put the podcast back on. See what happens. Structurally is the next thing that I'd like to point out. This is the way most people listen to the show and the way we've designed the show very specifically over the years, but I'll also talk about ways you could adjust. But if you're new, just listen to it linearly, see how it goes. Maybe listen, if you listen to 3 episodes, listen to 5 or 6 and then start to adjust. But for the most part, people choose to listen to this way because it just benefits the most amount of people. So the show starts off with a greeting, which we only started 4 or 5 years ago, but it was important for me to figure this out that, you can feel seen and welcome at first, and you say, and you get the idea the show's a little bit silly and a quick taste of the structure of the show. So you say, okay, I might check that out. Then the free show's sponsor supported. So that means that's just the way most people like to listen to the show. They say, hey, I just got to, it's sponsor supported, so I don't have to pay for it. That's cool. Then, separate from the support, is a long, meandering intro, which is meant to ease you into bedtime. And for some reason, the two things stick out to me that I like to point out how you could adjust right away is, some people don't like the support. If you don't like the support, there's plenty of options. You could, support the show directly to get ad-free stuff. You could spread the word for free and join our referral program to get ad-free stuff. But most people choose to listen to that way. The intro is not part of the sport. It's a show within a show. And for most people, it's part of their wind down routine. So 2% of people skip the intro. A few thousand people subscribe to the show so they can listen to just the story only version of the show, which you can get at the starting level of subscribing to the podcast, if that works better for you. But for most listeners, the intro, they're either getting ready for bed or they're doing a wind down chill activity or they're in bed getting comfortable. There is a small percentage of people that are asleep. And so the intro is just meant, it's like a landing pad. It eases you into bedtime, it gives you a buffer between the day, the evening, bedtime, and drifting off. So that's just part of the structure, like a slow fade. We actually even tried slow fades, but those were believe it or not, the slow fade, we can't, the volume of everything we make is -16 LUFS, whether it's the ads, the beginning, the end of the show, because that consistent volume always worked better. But we did try slow fades with different stuff or slowly fading the show out volume wise at the end. That didn't work. I don't know. Some people listen back-to-back episodes and stuff like that. So what's my point? The intro goes on and on and on. And there's support between the intro and the story. Then tonight's bedtime story will be my neighbor Ray giving tips about live performances and staying cool at a couple theme parks. I think Disney's, I think he already did Epcot. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe this is where he talks about the Epcot piano player. So you don't want to miss it. Even if he doesn't talk, even if he talked about that like 6 months ago, there's going to be other, oh man, maybe these are like the performances. I don't know. It's worth a listen for sure. And so that'll go, and that's about 50 minutes long. And then there's thank yous at the end. So that's the structure of the show. It's like why we structure the show that way. That's what different ways you could choose to adjust the show. But for the most part, this show's here to keep you company, take your mind off of stuff, and then have you drift off eventually. Invite you in, kind of sit down and chill, and then and I don't even put you to sleep. Like I said, you fall asleep while I'm just rambling. But I'm so glad you're here. I work really hard at Your Nice Drive. I really hope I can help you fall asleep. But thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple of ways we're able to do it for you for free twice a week. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots here. This is just a reminder. We're kicking off subscriber summer. You do not want to miss out. So you're going to want to check out Sleep With Me Plus during the summertime. sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, PLUS, or you can put a plus symbol in there. But check out Sleep With Me Plus for subscriber summer. Not only do we get access to this subscriber summer, you get access to last subscriber summer, all the other bonus episodes we put out. Story-only episodes, full episodes, so much cool stuff. And you'll be saying, Sleep With Me is a valuable part of my life. If Sleep With Me is a valuable part of your life, please consider supporting it at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus because you're valuable. Bringing you bedtime stories, it brings value to my life. Putting the work into this show, the people who work on this podcast, it's valuable to them. So if the show's valuable to you and you're in a position where you could support the show or say, well, you know what? There are streaming services I don't even use that I'm paying for. Let me figure out one of those, or that I only use 1/10 as much as I use Sleep With Me. Think about that and support the show directly at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thank you. And thanks for believing in me and the podcast. And yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks and good night. And here's Scoots. Hello, everybody. This is Ray, and your friend Ray. Scooter's neighbor Ray. So good to be here in your ears. And oh boy, this is part 2 of part 1. I guess it doesn't really matter. Scooter does it. Scooter shook his, where I'm back talking about Disney parks. It's been a while since I talked about Disney parks, and we had a couple ideas over the past couple of years. As I said, Scooter, I think I'm ready to talk about Disney parks, being in the park and stuff like that. And we had 2 separate ideas. Well, one came out of being like 2 different. Well, so we've been doing a lot of on-location recording outside of the parks because you can't record in the parks a sleep podcast. You know, there's plenty of great, like audio shows about the parks and YouTubers about the parks. But we can record trip reports and do research in the parks. But for our show, it just doesn't work. Mostly because Scooter, because Scooter has, but we've, walking around the parks, you'll hear those on Patreon. And we had a lot of good things, but we also have come up with some ideas, which we had another episode we recorded about animal, what was it? Magic Kingdom and Disney Hollywood Studios. Oh, I'm supposed to introduce myself. My name is Ray Perkins. If this is your first time listening, I'm Scooter's neighbor and his friend, I would say. I don't have a father's figure, but you don't need to have a father's figure to be a father figure. Though Scooter said the jury may be out on my he says, well, I would figure you for a father, Ray. And I'm saying, well, you should figure me for a father figure, though. And then don't say grandfatherly figure, please. I understand. But so I'm we have a very large age difference and with different personalities for sure. I like talking I love smiling, talking to people, listening to people. talking to people I don't know at theme parks. That's one of the reasons I love theme parks. They're full of people. And I think if you asked Scooter those things, those would all be pretty low on his list. I mean, Scooter loves people, humanity. He loves serving your humanity in a way that he's good at. But he said, that's what I like. So we're different. And, it was not easy becoming Scooter's friend. Took a lot of work, a lot of, hey, how you, we lived in one place. This was back when Scooter was out, not making the podcast, and things weren't going great. I think you could say that pretty easily. His life was not where anyone would have wanted it to be for him. I mean, except for, people that didn't hold him, even the people who didn't maybe hold him in high esteem. They would have said, poor guy. And that's what I would say when I said, I like that guy, but I really feel like he could use a friend. But he did not feel the same. So I'd say, hey, how you doing? I'm your neighbor. Because his driveway, he lived in a house. Now, this may be repeat info for some of you, but I know Scooter says it's always somebody's first time listening, Ray. And just say it's sleepy, and you can repeat it. So Scooter lived in a house that had been converted into 4 apartments. And he lived there. And it had a long driveway. The front door was not in use. You could go in the front door, but no one used it. Scooter's bed was against his front door, but you would go down the driveway there, and that's how everybody got into the apartments, was in the back. But so I would see Scooter going down the driveway because I lived next door, and that's where I would make eye contact with him, if I could. But if he saw me ahead of time, then he would pretend he was on the phone, even though, he's admitted to me he was mostly never on the phone. He also said, yeah, I never talk with the phone to my ear. Like, who does that? And I say, I do. But he'd say, I would use a headset or something, headphones. So eventually, we became friends after many approaches and thousands of hours of, just saying hello, have a great day. Oh, I like your shirt there. That's a nice shirt on you. What's your name? So eventually became friends is my thing. And then Scooter said, hey, Ray, you love going to theme parks, don't you? Why don't you come on the podcast and talk about your trips to the theme parks? And I think initially, Scooter and I have not listened, but I think initially I was just going by myself, as a single, adult out there in the world. And this was a different era of the podcast, but it was just me. And then it became Scooter and I and his daughter, occasionally other family members going on vacation, where I became a part of his life, which I'm very grateful for. And I know a lot of you listeners are too. And Scooter's a part of your life, and maybe Ray is, maybe not. Some people have a strong affinity for me, or they say, I prefer not to listen to Ray ever in my life. Or, they say, why do you have a guest on a sleep podcast? And we all chuckle at that and say, oh, you must mean Antonio Banderas. Okay, so the concept for these episodes, if this is the first one you hear, maybe the first, maybe the second, I don't know. We recorded one other episode, but Scooter likes to kind of go with, I don't know. He says, they don't have to come out in order. So the ideas of these episodes, it became one episode. I wanted to do an episode about the in-park person entertain, like streetmosphere type entertainers. And I pitched Scooter on the idea. I said, what if we do some research and we talked to the patrons, and maybe we talked about matching food and performers. That part did not work out, just because a little too many moving pieces. But we did do that. We ate at the performances. I don't know if we could do that today, but it probably needed one more research, or one more person other than Scooter and I. And again, this all sounds like it's fun and games, but to Scooter, it's not. And he even said, Ray, this is not fun and games. Why are you talking to them? He doesn't say it that way, but that's what he means. So initially we did research a while ago. I don't even know how long ago it was, where we would see performers And we don't even have all our notes, but, I have my notes right up here. So, we'll talk about that. These are two parks where really there's a lot of in-person performers. Now then, when we were looking at this eating idea, Scooter came up with this other idea out of necessity and of learning the hard way of, what if you want to stay cool in these parks without waiting in line or, ideally not paying for money, but a lot of times you got to pay money and eat food. Like, what if you want to sit down in air conditioning? What do you do if you're tired of walking around the parks, but you can't go home? Because in our research trips, we don't stay at the Disney hotels because it's a business expense. Well, one time Scooter forgot it was going to be a business expense, so he used his points. Did you do that again, Scooter? He's like, so maybe, but it is a business trip. So Scooter usually forgets all the time to pay for it with the business. And then he says, oh, well, but so we stay off site because it's more reasonable. And for Scooter, it just feels overindulgent. Though he does want to do ones. Scooter, why don't we do that, though? We could stay at the resort that we're going to do the research at. He just gave me the thumbs up. Because here's the thing. We had other research trips planned in 2 different occasions. And we haven't done those because the idea of Scooter said, well, we'd have to take a lift to the hotel, walking around these larger hotels anyway. So we came up with this idea, like, well, if you're not staying at a Disney hotel, it takes a lot longer or costs more money to go back to your hotel to take a nap and take a break. Now, if you're on vacation, we'd recommend it. But if you're working, it's a little bit different of a algorithm. If you're with family, you get there, park open, like Ray says, be there before the park opens, then take a break, go back to your hotel, then come back to the park or another park. Not that difficult. Like, you only want to be at the park for the first 3 hours it's open, maybe 4. Then go ahead and take a break. Go somewhere. Go back to your room, ideally, and then come back. If you're going to stay 6 hours, just go home after that and stay 6, 7 hours and go home. So Scooter said, okay, what if because what happened was we really needed a break. We were at Epcot Center and we didn't follow this protocol. That's why we've come up with this protocol. And we had walked a lot of walking because we had ridden bikes, walked very far distances before we got to the park. And then we were at the park to do research, but we also had like a line pass, what do you call that, virtual queue to ride Guardians of the Galaxy. And so we were running out of gas doing our research, but we still had like 3 or 4 hours till we could ride Guardians of the Galaxy. Scooter said maybe 3 hours. And so maybe 4, Scooter, actually. Okay, yeah, 3 p.m., that's 2 p.m., right? So Scooter and I are having a disagreement. And so at that time, we didn't have anything in park. So we were like, Scooter's like, we got to get out of here. It's too hot, too busy. And we went to some hotels and just sat down. And then we did some recording because we were working. And Scooter said, we'll record. But then Scooter came up with this another idea on another research trip where Scooter said, well, what if we tried to find a plan to stay cool when you need to stay cool? So those are the 2 things we're going to be talking about here. And we're going to start with Animal Kingdom. And I'm just opening the park map. Now, for staying cool, Scooter, do we even have any advice for staying cool here? Animal Kingdom was the winner on this trip of most surprising for best surprising live entertainment. That's what it's called, Scooter, live entertainment. And again, you open this thing up. There's none of the entertainment is listed here. There's character flotillas, which are cool. That's another great form of entertainment. Those are not scheduled, and they just kind of go by. The characters on boats or musical performers on boats. Here's the thing, Disney. give us those musical performers on the boats all the time. And then there's shows, but there's nothing interesting, Scooter. Yeah, there's nothing about the actual shows there. Okay, so Scooter, let's go over, no, so you walk into this park. Now, we've never been to the, what's that thing called, Scooter? The, Floration Cafe, Rainforest Cafe. That could be a place you go to cool down, but you're going to spend money, you know. Now, when you first go in the park, there's not really anywhere to go to have a break. So I don't know, staying cool. I mean, we highly recommend eating at the Pandora quick service place and then you can eat indoors. The meals they have there are very good, and they're usually of like a non-fast food quality. Like you could get noodles or rice, and usually like a whole grain. And you could refill your own drink, which Scooter, that's one of Scooter's things. They also have outside of there, Scooter's daughter likes the Night Blossom, which is some sort of boba drink, which is supposed to be good. Scooter, what's that place called? Do you know? He doesn't know. Okay, let me look it up then. 21 maybe? Satuli Canteen in Pongu Pongo's where you get the Night Blossom. Now, other than that, I don't know that there's anything in there to cool down. Now, if you go to the next area where the, what's that thing called, Scooter? No, this is a good place to cool down. So this one is on Scooter's list. Now, there's another good place to eat, 33. Scooter, what's that? 33 is a Harambe market. But it is outdoors, so only in outdoor seasons. But that's another good place to sit down and eat. And also in this area is where you can get the best performers. But we'll come back to the performers. But here's what you want to do. You want to go to Rafiki's Planet Watch. And you take a train there. Now, first of all, you take a train there. You get to see some backstage areas where the animals sleep at night, which is nice. You get to sit on a train. You get a little breeze. It's a short train ride. And here's the thing. You may be a parent or a grandparent or an aunt and uncle. Kids love going on trains. Especially, you don't really have to wait in line. And two, it's a short train ride, so it's not so long that they get bored. Now, you may want to bring some, you don't want to go here when you're in between or in between meals you want to go there because there's no place to eat. And you're probably shooting to go to Rafiki's Planet Watch for enough time to cool down, or if you're just going there for an hour or two. Now, because inside of Rafiki's Planet Watch, indoors, is the animation, Scooter, do you know what it's called? The Animation Experience at Conservation Station. And you definitely want to do that. And they'll have a schedule there. Oh, I'll check when the schedule is for today, just as an example, huh, Scooter? Okay, so for today, it's a summertime animation experience, eh? The shows are at 10, 10:45, 11, 11:30, 1:45, 2:30, 3:15, 4, and 4:45. So about every 45 minutes, and I think it's about a 15-minute show, you get to draw something. You get to sit down. There's a presenter who teaches you how to draw something. It's all very nice and very well done. You get a free souvenir. And, you get to cool down. There's a nice restroom in the Animation Conservation Station or whatever it's called. So if you got to use the restroom. And then there's other exhibits of how they care for the animals that you could look at. Then you got to stand up, but that you could look at. And sometimes they even have live animal care going on. Teeth brushing, I think we saw. And so I strongly recommend that. Then you can go outside. There's a petting zoo. Now, Scooter, again, is not a zoo person, so he can't, he does go to the petting zoo because the animals are kind of roaming around. But as soon as it affects him, and again, not in a subconscious way. And then he says, we got to leave. I got to get out of here. So I highly recommend this Rafiki's Planet Watch for cooling down and keeping time. Another thing you could do that's not that far away is it's A Bug's Life, right, Scooter? Scooter said thumbs up. So that one has an indoor waiting area. Now, you would have to sit on the floor, but it's inside the bottom of the Tree of Life. So great, like a little, like so many details, there's so many things. And then it's a 3D movie where you sit on a bench. So the seats aren't exactly perfectly comfortable for taking a nap, but you're in AC. You're going to get like a 30-minute AC break there. There's also, if it's not too hot, there's a lot of trails around the Tree of Life, which we did do, and they're really nice. Now, other things you could do to stay cool, but you're going to have to wait in line, is the Lion King show and the Nemo show. And those are both very good, so you just got to plan those, though. This staying cool thing is more of like that involves a little too much planning. Then there's a bird show, but that's outside, but it's in the shade. So if you need to sit down, but you don't need AC, that's a good option there. And that's really, unfortunately, it. I mean, other than eating, there's not really any other things to do to stay cool other than going to the shows or eating at restaurants. And a lot of the restaurants have outdoor seating because there's Bengal barbecue, which is really nice outdoors. There's Pizza Safari, which is mostly indoors, but we don't recommend it. It's usually pretty busy. Now, there is a shady spot we're going to highly recommend, the Dawa Bar. Scooter, is that what's called, Dawa Bar? And don't be intimidated because it's this giant outdoor area. It's all covered. And you could order a drink, but usually there's a couple open tables, and this is where you're going to watch a few of the performances. And let's see what we have on the first app here. So this is the Lentesta app, Lines. Okay, so let's start to look at, Scooter, what's this one? Habitat. I never heard of that one. Oh, that's at Rafiki's Planet Watch. Okay, so you have the Harambe Village app, Acrobats. And you can, again, this shows once an hour. Today it was 10:45, 11:45, 12:45, 1:45, 2:45, and 3:45. And this one is in a different area, right? Or is that one in, because the thing was, we were trying to find these, and it was very difficult. Description, huh? That's, Harambe. It says it's strolling. We'll come to that one, though, because that one we're coming up on. Now, there's the Tam Tam drummers of Harambe. Now, this one we really, really enjoyed. Now, we sat at the Dawa Bar. I think we watched the Acrobats and this show, separately, so this show would have been on the 15s, 10, 15, 11, 15, 12, 15, 1, 15. Not every day it's going to be on this, so check your schedule, but it's a drumming show. It's interactive. It is so well done. Oh my goodness. And then, so those are the two. Let me just check should I go through this? Let's go through this. Okay. So we took a lift at 8 a.m. And 8:25, we were there. And I think the park had opened at 8 o'clock or 9. I don't know what time it opened. We got in line for the safari, and it said it was either going to be 25 minutes. Disney said that. Line said 9 minutes. And we were on the ride at 8:40, or almost getting on. And bug sound effects in line. That was cool. Then we went on. So this is what we're researching, trying to have a little fun too. Then 9:19, we were in line for the dinosaur. Everest was not operating and never operated while we were there that day. That's one of the biggest rides too. Then I don't know what this says. W Drive, Radisson, W. Oh, something, there was like maybe Dino Radio, there's this whole Donald's birthday thing. There's this whole backstory to this area, which is changing with Hester and Chester's something, and then the Dino Institute. And one of them has a imaginary radio station. Wherever checks. Oh, maybe Ray. Oh, here's a show idea. Ray's show where he checks on area music. 9:30, on side near BBQ, Tree of Life, up close. Oh, on soda, 9:30 on soda near BBQ. Oh, so maybe we bought a soda near the barbecue. I think we did. Then we walked around the Tree of Life garden, up close to the tree. Oh, yeah, so this is one of the trails. Great for strollers. Then we saw the Tam Tam Drummers at 10:15 sit in the shade by the Dawa Bar. Then maybe after the Tam Tam Drummers, you'll see some of these performers on boats. We saw a bard on a boat or a bird on a boat. Okay, that was we had lunch at 10:35, Scooter. That's impressive. Okay, cool spots. Santuli Canteen, but you must buy something. And then, Lion King and Nemo and Bugs Life. Conservation Station and Animation Show. Okay, this is the next performer that we're going to recommend. This is in a different area, and it took us a little while to find. The Viva Gaia Street Band. Now, they played at 10:45, 11:45, 12:45, 2, 3, 4, and 5 p.m. Now, this was a fun band. Holy cow. This is more of a lively, dancing along, singing along. They're they're near one of the restrooms Scooter likes to use on your way to Dino Land, across from Bengal Barbecue. Again, it said on the thing that they were in the area front of Tree of Life, but they're really around the corner. Every audience member dancing, Scooter noted. They sang Macarena with dancing, bare necessities, and Scooter, any idea what any of that says? No. Oh, Discovery Island Drummers. Okay, well, I'll look that up, Scooter. But yeah, that's the Viva Gaia Street Band. Strong recommend. Now, the next one is Cora Tinga Tinga. Now, this gentleman, holy moly, and I don't know how long he played for, but we just sat there. We sat there with a PhotoPass photographer who was enjoying the music while they were working and conversing with Scooter, of all people, about this. Let's read up on Cora Tinga Tinga. So they say it's a traveling minstrel performer that wanders through Harambe Village, but the gentleman was playing... Now, he plays the kora, which is a handcrafted African harp. But he also sings, and he plays this instrument that is a beautiful to listen to and to watch. And this, holy moly, it is just as absolutely beautiful and mesmerizing. This is Disney magic. This is what I feel like they've forgotten is some real magic. Is that this gentleman gets compensated to perform something beautiful in the parks. That some people walk by and some people stop and enjoy, and it fills the air. I don't know. I mean, and again, the other bands, the Tam Tam Drummers and the Viva Gaia Street Band, and then the Harambe Village Acrobats, all are very similar. And again, this is really stepping it up. I mean, they need these performers to keep the things going. Now, Scooter, I'm not seeing anything about the drummers in this app. So should I open the Disney's app? Okay. Okay, so we're going to go to the tip board here. I mean, it's the end of the day at the parks, though. But Scooter thinks there's also another band. Maybe we saw it. It's just our notes are not very clear. Okay, so Scooter, I don't think there is. I could not find any times for the Tree of Life drumming band. Is that what you were saying? Discovery Island Drummers. So we don't know if that's a thing or not, but we do have the other drumming band, and then the Acrobats, Cora Tinga Tinga. And so the strong could be, you could even add more. They used to have Divine there, who was a very entertaining performer as well. So now we're going to move on to Epcot Center. Is that correct? And should we just go through these notes, Scooter, and then go from there? There's a lot of pages here. This is live research. There's so much in Epcot Center. Okay, this is 11:49. It was a Saturday. And, holy cow. So just a little backstory of our day at Epcot. And this was the second time we had done this. Is this when we started it? We went, main bus. Oh, okay, so we were at the main bus stop there. So we had walked 4.13 miles over an hour and 41 minutes. We had soda at Saratoga, 2 sodas at Saratoga. We had walked from our hotel to Saratoga Springs, Turtle Shack. Scooter, all this was recorded, right? And then Key West and main restrooms. And we took the bus. Scooter lost his hat on the bus, maybe, or at lunch. Okay, then we got into Red Shots, 2 p.m. pub. Okay, so this was brainstorming of what shows we would try to go to. Drums, 3 p.m. Alps, 1 p.m. Something else, 12:15, 1:30, 2:30. Juggler, 3:10. Pub, 1:30. Okay, so this one, we got a couple good recommendations. They have this new restaurant, Connections Cafe, and this may be where Scooter lost his hat. You could get a slice of pizza there. You could also fill up your water or drinks. They have a restroom in the restaurant. It's huge, tons of seating. And this is our first spot to lay low and get some air conditioning because it's very cool. It's busy, but you can sit down. And we're not going to review the food, and that's maybe where Scooter lost his hat. Now, unfortunately, okay, we didn't cover the rest of Future World of places to cool down because there's Club Cool where you could get soda samples. And so we would recommend a trip to this Connections Cafe and Club Cool. Now, we didn't do any other research, but we know from the past another good place to go to stay cool is you don't have to go on the Nemo ride. You could. But if you go into the seas, there are places you could sit down and that whole building is air conditioned. And then the same goes for the land. The Living with the Land ride is one of the best rides in the parks. So relaxing. But even if you don't want to wait in line, you could go to the Land Cafe eating area. There's a movie in there. There's Soarin'. So there's plenty of places to sit down in that building as well. And you could combine the seas and the land with a meal. And then you could go to Journey into the Imagination. Usually there's no line there. Now the restroom situation at the land is not good. And then the one at Nemo is upstairs. There may be 2 restrooms there, but the one in Land of Imagination, that's a quality, low traffic restroom out back. We've talked about it before. And there may even be a movie running, like a Pixar shorts or something at the movie theater at Imagination. So those are all areas where you could stay cool. I mean, Epcot has a reasonable amount of places, but if you really want to sit down and not wait in line, you could go on the boat ride in Mexico. And inside of Mexico, you could try to find some place to sit down, but it is kind of busy. So it's kind of tough to sit down. Occasionally, the mariachi band will perform indoors. But most of the time, they're scheduled to perform outdoors. Now, if they which is, and then there's, how do you know, marimba? Marimba band when there's not a mariachi band. Marimba, which is just another, we've watched both of those styles of performers. More recently, we've missed the mariachi band quite a few times. So I think we've seen Marimba de las Americas quite a few times. There's also before you get to the countries in Epcot, there's the Jaminators. And they're a very fun drumming band. They're they drum on garbage cans, and it's a really fun show. Trash can percussion, they say. Now, okay, so here's the good news, bad news. Now, like you could kind of stay cool in Mexico, like we said. Norway, there's nowhere to hide there indoors. I mean, unless just sitting down at the sit-down restaurant at the buffet. If you're waiting in line and you get indoors for Anna and Elsa, you could do that, but that's not really relaxing and chilling. There is a small church museum, but that's not really, it's high traffic. But you get to China, and you do have some good options there, like a really good option, which is the Circle Vision 3D movie, and there's a museum there, and there's waiting for the movie. So you could really squeeze about 45 minutes out in this building. And the other reason we mention this is maybe another series we'll do is, what if you have to stay cool and you have a sleeping child in a stroller? This China Pavilion is the place to go. If you want to stay indoors or even outdoors, they have an extensive courtyard where you could go. But so if you go into the China Pavilion and you go straight in, you're going to be in the waiting area where there's benches to sit down and wait for the movie to start. Now, it is a Circle Vision movie, so you have to stand up, but nothing says you couldn't just sit there and not go to the movie, or sit there, then go to the movie, then come back and sit down again. But in the room to the left of where the waiting for the movie is, there's also a museum. Right now it's dedicated to Shanghai Disneyland. Now, there's a couple chairs in there, so you could sit down. Now, the one time Scooter and I found ourselves in there recently not doing research, we were pushing a stroller of a sleeping child, and it was a child, Alex, if you stop moving, he would wake up. So, and everybody else was in line to see Anna and Elsa's boat ride. And so we just kept circling and circling, indoors and outdoors. This was not a hot trip, so we were able to pull that off. But China is a good place to cool down. So you do have to do some work once you leave China. There's not a lot to cool down. Now we're going to mix in the performers here. So there currently isn't a show in China, which is unfortunate because sometimes there is, like, different shows there. So I would hope Disney, if you're listening, either bring back an acrobat show or a musical show. We would like to see that. Next up, I think after you work your way around is there's like a outpost with shops and food and stuff. But then there's Germany. Now again, Germany, no place to cool down. You could go in the shops there, or you could go to the restaurant. But even the quick service restaurant is just a window, so you really not a good place to cool down. But they do have two shows. The normal show is called Grooven Alps, and that's a very entertaining show. And we've seen it many times. It's always good. It's like a drumming. It's dancing. It's a little comedy. Let me check my notes here. But I wanted to look up another show. Okay, so China, Shanghai Disney Display. What do we got here? Scooter, what is that? So we saw that first? Oh, no, here we go. Scooter lost his hat. Yeah, waiting room, plenty of seating. Then we saw Grooven Alps at 1 p.m. Ladder dancing, ladder drumming. They did Jump, Van Halen's Jump. Even the staff, the Disney cast members were jumping and clapping and had big smiles on their faces. Then they were drumming empty pots, just in pans, cow sounds, barrel drums, clapping, audience clapping. So great little show. Big smiles. We said that. So that's Grooven Alps. Wild Wooden Spoon Song, rock songs in background grooving music. Okay, then we'll come back to the other performer we've seen in Germany. Then Sergio we managed to see in Italy. And this is a great show. And again, Disney, what are you doing? Like, we need more of this, not less. because they used to also have, as we said in the other show, they used to also have the World Showcase Players do Romeo and Juliet in Italy, which couldn't be more fitting. And so then you had two different shows going on in Italy, which would draw crowds and just bring joy to people. But Sergio does that very well. Ladle juggling, rubber chickens, balancing rubber chicken on the forehead, ball, ladle, and rubber chicken, and then a bigger ball, then this catching thing that's very interactive and fun. And Scooter, can we look up the other Italy show you think? The other... So they're like on the Grooven Alps day off. I guess I should applaud Disney for this. They had another group playing. We just got to find it. It's back. It's not in that app, Scooter. Okay, it's in this app. Okay, so we're headed back there. Headed back in time. Okay, we're headed back in time now. We're looking for the performers. You think it's in here, Scooter? Oh, yeah, that's where we were too warm, so it should be right around here, huh? Okay, there's Japan. Oh, there's the performer at the UK pavilion. Okay. You don't think, Scooter, this is another... Oh, is that Mickey? Oh, that's Goofy. And that's nighttime. So I guess you didn't take any pictures of that band, Scooter? Oh, here it is. He found it. We need a close-up to know the name of the band, though. Don't worry. We'll figure. We're working on it. Scooter took a lot of videos. Wow. Okay, here we go. Felice and Cortez. And they were a couple. And, again, they did juggling, singing, songwriting, drumming. And it was a really fun show. Covers and originals. So very. Oh yeah, he was juggling and drumming at the same time at one point. It was so good. So another great show, and again, Disney, keep them around. Supplement more shows. We say. Okay, so that's Germany. Again, Italy. You have Sergio, but there's no place in Italy to stay cool. We do like to get a slice of pizza in Italy when the pizza window's open, which has been the last couple times we visited there. But there's no place to stay cool other than going in the shops. After Italy, Scooter, do you even know what comes after Italy? He just shrugged. America. So America, they have the American Adventure Show, which again is inside. The waiting is inside. They have the Voices of Liberty. And if you get there a little bit before the Voices of Liberty, you should be able to find a seat, like a what do you call that? A padded stool you could sit on, not a stool, but a bench, like something cozy, and maybe even against a wall, so you could lean against the wall. And then the Voices of Liberty is like a singing group. And, you may have strong feelings about it, seeing but this is about chilling and staying cool. You could watch that. And then usually within 15 minutes or a half hour is the American Adventure animatronics show. It is a limited history viewpoint. But at the same time, with our goals, you could sit down, and that show is about 25 minutes long or 20 minutes long. And then if you want to extend your chill and spend money, you could go to the, what's it called? Regal Eagle Smokehouse, which is a quick service barbecue, or you could just get a drink. They do have banana pudding, but Scooter said he can't recommend, he doesn't wholeheartedly recommend it. He said it's not bad, but Scooter did say, you get free refills. So that's if you want to just chill and drink a soda. Though, again, at this point, we do have trouble even recommending that because it is about $4.50 or something for a soda at this point in history. So that's the United States. So the United States does have places you could get an extensive rest. And the first time, now Scooter said he wished we would have done that instead of walking all the way to the hotels. Okay, now Is that it? Next up is Japan. Now, Japan, there's a couple good options here, including a couple hidden ones. And there's good options for chilling. Now, if you want to watch the drumming. Oh, should we check the times of the shows, Scooter? Yeah, so the drumming is Matsuriza, and that's a Japanese drumming show. This is one of the best shows to listen to right there in the garden, or there's a sushi restaurant and noodle restaurant in the garden, and there's a restroom. Like you could kind of wander up to the garden, there's outdoor seating where you could eat or just sit down and watch the show and listen to the show. But this show is also good because you can hear it almost from a different places in the lagoon. And it just is one of these things that adds clear ambiance, along with the shows in Morocco and the UK, where some people might say the audio leaking through. I think this is the thing that makes this park the best for entertainment, but just for ambiance, is hearing like rock music and the drumming, taiko drumming, I think it's called, in the background. So, but if you need to be indoors, there's a couple strong, now they have this gigantic department store, but there's nowhere to sit down in there. But they also have a museum, and right now it's like themed to different genres of J-pop, I think. Kawaii, Scooter, is that right? But it is air-conditioned. Usually the displays are very interesting and informative, and there's usually like one or two benches where you could sit down. So that's one place. Another place, if you still need to stay indoors and have a break, is they do have two sit-down restaurants on the second floor above the department store. And at least at the time we checked this out, there's a little waiting area for the two restaurants where you could just sit as if you were waiting for your reservation, just to get a little extra break in. And again, if you have, for some reason you have a stroller and a child that doesn't need to be moved, these are all good places where you could sit down while the child is sleeping in the AC. Anything else about Japan, Scooter? Okay, next one, we jump around. So should we jump around or should we keep working our way there? Let's check the map, he said. Okay, so do we cover, so the American Adventure, Japan. Okay, Morocco and France are the next two. So Morocco, oh boy. So Morocco has like is similar to Japan. It has a great outdoor performance. Atlas Fusion is the current band that's there. And they've almost always had some sort of rock type, fusion rock type band. Atlas Fusion, obviously. So the band is very good. Usually they'll have dancing and they'll do a little bit of audience interaction. Really good show. And you could stand there and watch it. You could get something at the Tangerine Cafe and sit down at one of the cafe tables. But again, then it's pretty hot. They also have another food window across from the performance we haven't got eaten at, and then a restaurant on the water we haven't eaten at. But those also, you may be able to enjoy the band. But they also have a museum there. It's probably the same size as the one in Japan. But usually there's one or two benches in there where you could sit down, but you could actually go and enjoy the museum for a little while and have some AC. And then, yeah, if you could catch a spot on the one or two benches in there. They also have other areas within the Morocco Pavilion that are not in AC, but at least the shaded that you could work your way through. And then the Tangerine Cafe, I don't think it has very much indoor seating in the AC, but that's always a place we go to eat, have a little snacky poo. So that's Morocco. And then France, holy cow. France is a tough one. We checked the movie. They have two different movies there, Impressions de France and then Beauty and the Beast sing-along. And they do have a pretty big waiting area, and you could sit on the floor. I think there was only a couple of benches, but you could also sit on the floor. So what we would say to do is just do that if you want to cool down, because it is indoor eating place, but it's usually very, very hectic. And they have an ice cream place and then an indoor, like, boulanger, whatever you call that, where you could get pastries and sandwiches and those kind of. Now, both those places, the ice cream and whatever it's called, the boulanger, whatever, is those are both really good places. It's just that there's not a lot of seating, and it's in the AC, so it tends to be pretty hectic. So if you just need to chill, just go to the movie early and then chill in the waiting room. Then go to the movie or the Beauty and the Beast sing-along because you'll be able to sit down. And the Impressions de France, we went one time with one of Scooter's nephews who was only a couple years old, and he loved the movie. I mean, it's a really nice movie. So that's France. Anything else, Scooter? They have the Remy ride, which is cool. Okay, then we get to UK and Canada. Now, these two are strong. The UK, I mean, to think of the glory days where it had 3 separate performers is unbelievable. But they have a strong, now this is another set of performers. Command Performance is the name of the band that plays there currently. And they're like, they play English rock music from multiple genres, but no, not multiple genres, multiple decades. Now, a day like today, they played at 3, 4:15, 5:30, 7, and 8 p.m. And they'll have regulars. Now, you could sit on the curb. You're going to sit outside. There's even a couple other places you may be able to get there early enough to sit on. But really high-energy band. They say they don't play the same set every time, so they're playing different songs. And there's a lot of people, if you love to people, this is when I've seen Scooter the happiest, is he watches people dancing and singing along. And actually, for Scooter, he even watches people that are overindulging, and he just seems to enjoy it so much. But that's Command Performance. Then they have a pub pianist. Really great show. Oh, I was also saying, yeah, if they could just have, I don't know. Oh, I was saying France used to have this amazing kind of acrobatic, magic comedy performer, too. It was a performance duo. Okay, but back to Kelly. Scooter, where are notes on Kelly here? Oh, best place for cool in the pub. Sorry, I even forgot we were trying to stay cool. So this is definitely a great place to stay cool. Now, if you have a adult beverage, you could have one there. And then sit on the curb during Command Performance. They played a song by SOS, sending out an SOS. The drummer sang, Message in a Bottle. Clash, Hard Day's Night, a couple Badfinger songs. Nice breeze when we were watching that. They played some Queen, The Who. Holy cow, that's a lot. And then, so we don't have any, we didn't write down the songs, but I know Kelly usually sings Let's Go Fly a Kite with like a little bit of change in the lyrics, or maybe not. And then, a different like version of Doe, a thing I use at the pub, Ray, the person that works at the pub, a funny song. So it's a great piano audience interaction sing-along experience, the pub, and it's air conditioned, and you could get yourself a drink, and you get to be around other people. Also, they have a bathroom in the pub there. Don't forget me when I'm gone. So this was the next one. So then you go to Canada. There's been now Canada, for some reason, Len Testa's app does not list the Canada performers. Let's check the Disney app, even though now it's getting late in the day there. Now, Canada has had a couple different performers since we've tried to go there, but each time it's been good. So let's see what they have there today. If they have something, Groovin' Alps, Jaminators, Reflections of China. Soarin', Spaceship Earth Test Track. They don't have anything listed here for Canada. Maybe they don't even have it in Disney's app, but there is bands playing in Canada. And every time, hey, that's weird. It's not in either one of the apps. And maybe that's why Lentesta doesn't have it, because Disney doesn't give it to them. But every band we've seen, sometimes it's been a Canadian band, sometimes it's been a French-Canadian band. This one was kind of like the last trip, it was like more of a bluegrass, like with a little bit of, French, Cajun, Zydeco type influences. That was one band. Then this time was called the Blueberry Grass Band. And it was a beautiful singer. They had a fiddle. So again, bass, drum, guitar, and lead singer. And they were playing different covers, but more of like a French-Canadian bluegrass covers. Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone. People with by love, it's Chip done, but don't stop. Don't stop believing, Scooter? Oh, people walk by and love it, clap and dance, but don't stop. Oh, I wear my sunglasses at night, but all the valor. And there's really no other cool spots over here. You could go to the Canada movie, and we did go there, and there is seating in the waiting area for the Canada movie, so you could do that, but then the Canada movie itself, you have to stand up. Yeah, there was lots of barrels you could sit on. And then, here's the UK pub with Kelly. Best spot. Hey Jude, Let's Fly a Kite, Scooter Sang, Do Re Mi. That's Whiskey in a Jaw? Something, I don't know. Some sort of song. And lots of regulars, Scooter said, and he even played longer than his allotted time. He's the second person. Over the Rainbow was the last song they played. And we saw a command performance again. This time they played Honky Tonk Woman, a medley of Deep Purple songs. It was 91 degrees, but it felt like 96, 51% humidity. Day Tripper. And is that everything, Scooter? No, yeah, we recouped our things. Then we went to, this is when we checked out the American Adventure. Might be, do Voices of Liberty for a longer break. Then go to the Regal Eagle Smokehouse. Banana pudding, good seating. Soda refills, banana pudding just okay. Italy and Germany, nowhere to go to hide for heat. And, this is more Morocco. Yeah, 2 benches in the museum with AC. Also, covered places outside. Las Halles in France, you have to buy something and sit down, or the movie lobby. You could sit on the floor. Love that 445 Japanese drums just from the World Showcase entrance. And then we went into this is another place, the Beach Club Solarium. Now, I don't know if you have to be a guest or not, but you could go to the Beach Club Cafe and buy yourself a drink or something to eat. And then they have a solarium where you could sit down and relax. And then this is Scooter and I were debating, should we take a lift or a bus? And yeah, so that was our day. So that's a way to stay cool and a way to see some live performances at Epcot Center and Animal Kingdom. Thanks, and good night, everybody. This is your friend Ray. All right, I want to thank everybody that became a patron recently. This is I want to say thanks to Barbara, Jessica, and Vala. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Cassidy, Lauren, and Jacob. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Kelly, Kai, and Jennifer. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Grace, Michael, and Andrew. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Cynthia, Doug, and Jennifer. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Maurice, Jen, and Kim. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Cool. Beatrix and Kathleen. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Claire, Aline and Jamie, thank you, thanks, and good night. April, Rebecca, and Emma, thank you, thanks, and good night. Thanks for everybody who supports the show directly on Patreon or Apple Podcasts. It's really how we keep making the show. People that support our sponsors, it's another great way to help the show. And for free, if you want to help the show, just spread the word and let people know about it. And just let people know about the podcast and especially then let me know about it so we can get this like Deep Dark United World Cup thing going. So I appreciate it. Here's a Talk You In sponsor that we've added. That's how we were able to get up to those 600 episodes in the free archives. Thanks and good night, everybody.